Hey guys, Izzy here with DonnyFL. Today we are going to be talking about thread pitch and thread diameters. A lot of our customers have been requesting custom adapters for their stock air guns. A lot of the times these air guns don't have common threads, so we're going to be talking about two tools that we're going to be using to find out what threads these two adapters are. Today we're going to be talking about our thread pitch tool. We use this for our metric threads. We use this to find out what thread pitch we have on our threads, and we'll also be using our micrometer to see what diameter the thread is in circumference. We're going to look at this one first. We have an adapter here. This is one of our newest adapters for the Crossman Woods Walker and the P-Rod as well. So we have two different threads on this. We have a standard thread on the top, which is a half UNF or a half by 20 as many of us know it, and the bottom thread is a metric thread. So we're going to find out what thread this is here with our thread tool. So this tool can actually be used on external threads and internal threads. So right here we have some external threads. So pretty much we have some little serrations on this edge here. So pretty much what we want to do is we want to find which one of these little blades fits on these threads the best. I've already pulled out the one that fits on there just to save ourselves some time. But pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to be lining up the threads to the gauge, and when you get a nice snug fit and you can't see any light through it, that would be your thread pitch. So on this tool here we see a 1.0, so our thread pitch on this is 1.0. So to find out the outside diameter on these threads, we're going to be using our micrometer. So the best way to do this is I like using the inches. It also works in metric. But since we're using a metric thread, according to our tool here, we're going to be measuring in millimeters. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up and we're going to put it over the outside of the threads here. So here, let me switch this over to metric. So here we got 17.39 millimeters. So theoretically I would call this thread a 17.40 millimeter by one thread. A lot of the adapters that we have, they're different diameters, but the thread pitch can be the same. So if I were to pick this one up, it's not going to be identical to it. So as you see on this one is 17.29 millimeters, and the thread pitch is the same as well. So this is how we measure our metric threads. On standard threads, you can use this as well. This one doesn't have the readings for metric, but there is a different way. So on this other side of the adapter, we have a different thread. This is a half by 20 thread, also known as half UNF. So the way we go to measure this out, we're going to use our micrometer as well, and we're going to set this to inches and just make sure it's zeroed out. So you can see it's zeroed out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it to 0.25, which is a quarter of an inch. So let me get this there. Perfect. All right, so now we're at 0.25 of an inch, which equals a quarter inch. So what we're going to do is we're going to be putting this side to the threads, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it right at the peak of our first thread that is available, and then the other thread that matches up to. So what we're going to do now is we're going to count how many threads are in here. So on these threads here, they go by threads per inch. So if we have a quarter inch here and we have 1 inch worth of this thread here, there should be a total of 20 threads within that inch. So if we measure this here, there should be 5 threads within that space there, including the ones that we're touching. So if I can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threads per inch. Well, sorry, 5 threads per quarter inch. So that equals out to 20 threads per inch. So that's how we measure the thread spacing between. Now the outside thread is going to be with the same tool. We're going to be measuring the outside of the thread. And right here we got 0.4940, so this is very close to half an inch. So 0.50 is half an inch exact. So this would be a half by 20 thread. Like I said, if you do the equation right with setting your micrometer to 0.25 and counting the threads, you will find out exactly how many threads you have. There's other threads very similar to this, and those are the half by 28. Those are mainly found on firearms. We don't make any adapters, or we don't make anything that can fit on a firearm or a airgun suppressor on a firearm, or vice versa. We won't do that. We're just gonna stick to air guns. We don't want to break any laws here. We don't want to get in trouble, and we don't want you to get in trouble either. So we're gonna stick to half by 20 for now. There is other common threads that we use for air guns as well. So half by 20 is our most common one. We also have one that is a M14 by 1.25. Those are found mostly on the Edgun Leshy, the Vulcans, and then we also have the M18 by 1, which is found on our higher caliber air guns like the 357s, 45 and 50 caliber air guns. Those would normally use the M18 by 1. We also have a M20 by 1 thread, and those are normally found on the older versions of the FX air guns like the FX Impact, the Wildcat. Some of the newer air guns that recently came out, like the Daystate Delta Wolf, and some of their line of air guns currently use M20 by 1 threads. That is pretty much it. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact us through our email on our website, and we will answer your questions as best as we can. Have a good one, guys. Happy shooting out there.